Is it live? There we go. Good morning, hockey fans. It took a second for us to show that that we're live. I'm almost 4 seconds into it. Welcome to the new episode of the Fivefold. My name is Brandon. I got Brandon and Aaron with me. We're going to talk about the Flyers firing John Tortorella, some playoff updates and whatnot. Who's clinched? Who's eliminated? A new team in Houston. All that and more on today's episode. Fellas, how we doing?
Got my morning pick me up, and I'm doing pretty decent now.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. 2 coffees into it as well as we get ready to talk some NHL playoffs and everything else that goes on that's going on around the league. And it's been a week. It's been a week. The St. Louis Blues have won 9 straight in a row now. Knocking off the Colorado Avalanche yesterday afternoon, snapping their 11-game home streak as well. Let's talk about the one thing, though, really quick, and that's the Philadelphia Flyers decided to fire their head coach, John Tortorella, with 10 games left in the season. Aaron, you're over on the Eastern Conference side of things. What was your initial thoughts when you saw that? Were you surprised? Shocked?
No, I wasn't surprised. I'm going to go with a generation thing. I think just the way towards coaches, it doesn't translate with these new kids.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't know how to do the hard-nosed hockey, take the pucks to the stomach. Because we all know how John Tortorella is, right? He's hard-nosed. He's going to grind you every possible inch. He's like a Rob Brindamore, but a little more intense. And I just felt like with this team, they just have too many young guys that I think they just shut down on him. But now, is he going to coach somewhere? I think he's going to take a year off. And no, I don't want him back on the Rangers. I want to go forward, not backwards.
That was that would have been my next thing is if he does end up getting another job somewhere in the NHL, at what point is enough is enough? And you just kind of, if you're a franchise, you're like, nah, we don't want this guy. Like we can't hire this guy. Like it's just time's up for him. Like he's just not an NHL coach anymore.
I mean, Mike Sullivan likes hiring old Ranger coaches for his bench. Maybe he'll take them with Dan Quinn.
Hey, I mean that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. Brandon, what did you think on the Flyers firing John Tortorella this late into the season?
I mean, with how the team has kind of gone towards the end of the season so far, and just the kind of the comments that John Tortorella had been kind of making that he can't coach this team or the way that they want to play isn't how he uses the coach. It just seems like he's kind of how, like what Aaron was saying, doesn't want to adapt to trying to coach the new generation of style of play that the NHL is getting into these days. And you kind of could see the writing on the wall after some of the comments he's made in interviews and everything. And then whenever they did actually fire him, it didn't really come to a big surprise once they did it, because they hired him thinking that they would be able to bring Flyers back to what they were originally, and actually getting them back into the playoffs. And he hasn't done that in the few seasons that he's actually been with the Flyers. So I'm not shocked that they ended up firing him.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at it here. So he's the 3 seasons with the Philadelphia Flyers. Tortorella went 97, 107, and 33. Bradshaw is taking over for the Flyers for the rest of this season. Could be interesting. So look, it sounds like, and Brandon, you brought it up. This little report here says it's fired after rebuilding comments, reported verbal altercation with Cam York, which isn't the first time that we've kind of heard that Tortorella has this kind of issues with players. It was at Columbus that it happened in.
I think so, yeah. Even though that was kind of like their best coach in a while.
I think so.
It was where? Brandon?
I think Columbus.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, he did the 1 year in Vancouver, but
yeah. I don't know. Just I would again. I don't think it shocked me as well to see it. It just this late into the season though. I think that's what caught me by surprise. You got 10 games, 11 games left in the season. It's like okay, like well, maybe you just hang it out. Last game of the season, you're kind of gone. Well, there's no kind of you are gone. But I guess it's a new day for the Philadelphia Flyers, and we'll see where it leads them to, which. I don't know how better you can get now. I mean, they do have some pretty good young talent that they've drafted over the last couple of seasons, and so we'll see what the Flyers are going to be capable of and turn things around here now that they have a new head coach interim head coach in Bradshaw.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing about Tortorella is that he can either come into a franchise and clean up the crap, or he can go to a contender and make them better. Like that's just how he rolls.
Right. That's fair. Any final words or thoughts on the Flyers moving on here? Bang. Okay. Topic 1 down. Check that one out. Let's move over to some playoff talk really quick. Let me get the standings up here for you so you can see them. Actually, I have one thing really. We'll talk about this one here first. Let me get this one pulled up. The freaking Atlantic Division between the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, and the Lightning. Let me zoom this in here for you. How's that? Is that better? Can you see better? A little bit better? Brandon, you probably can't see it. Yeah. Anyways, with this, so looking at it's playoff time. It's been playoff. You talk about playoff hockey for the last 2 months of the season, basically. Just the atmosphere and everything like that. Holy crap, RFK voice there for a second. Jesus. The March Madness, they're calling this March Madness here in the Atlantic Divisions. The Panthers. So this is the top move or the movement between the top 3 since March 1st. So March 1st, it went Panthers, Maple Leafs, Lightning. March 2nd to the 4th, it was the Maple Leafs in first, Panthers, and then Lightning. March 5th through the 14th, you're looking at the Panthers, Maple Leafs, Lightning. March 15th through the 18th was the Panthers, Lightning, who jumped the Maple Leafs. And then Maple Leafs are in third. 19th through the 24th, you're looking at the Panthers at first, Maple Leafs in second, Lightning in third. 25th through the 27th. This is just that quick. That quick was Maple Leafs, Panthers, Lightning. Now you're looking at, as of today, right now, the Maple Leafs sit in first place, Panthers are in second place, and the Lightning are in third place in the Atlantic Division. Just the bouncing. I wouldn't necessarily say the bouncing. The Lightning have stayed pretty consistent in that third spot for so far this season, at least for now. But go ahead and pull up the standings here. Quick, I move that. Oh. Look at the standings here really quick. It's an absolute just gridlock between these 3 teams right now. You have the Maple Leafs sitting at 92 points, the Panthers at 91 points, and Tampa Bay Lightning now at 91 points. Winners of 3 straight as well. Just it's crazy how tight this division is between these 3 teams.
Toronto really wants that 1 spot. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, heck, you're not even Toronto. Look at you got Tampa Bay right there. Aaron, you said that they're going to end up winning the division a while back, and you might be right after all.
Yay!
Yay!
I was right. I was right about the Blues, and I'm right about the Lightning.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Tampa Bay Lightning end up getting a first round bye, and they just have to take on your New York Rangers.
Oh God, PTSD.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this little Eastern Conference divisional race here, Brandon? It's a tough one. It's close.
Yeah, seems like it's really close. I've been following a lot of the games in the evenings whenever I'm at work and seeing how a lot of this division has been shaping up. It's not a surprise that they're all kind of mixing it up as close as they are. They all three of those teams are playing really well, and you got a lot of those teams that made moves at the deadline. They're in all the acquisitions that they've made are starting to really show. You just got Florida, who just got Marchand back, and he, like the first few games of him being back, he's already contributed a lot with the line that he's on with Sam Bennett. So that team I feel like is going to be a team to watch. And then Tampa, they've always been the duo that they got between Hagel and Kucherov and Hedman. That just seems like all three of those guys do really well for that team, and they're always getting into the mix. And just the swing around that not Tampa Bay, but Toronto has is just crazy. After getting Chief is mind blowing. But I'm happy to see where they're going, and it's not surprising me that they're in the position that they're in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I found out the other day, just looking through things, that the Toronto Maple Leafs have a Matthews on their team, so Austin Matthews, of course, but then they have a Mac Matthews, how do you say his last name? I was like, oh, like that's not tongue tying at all if you're the public address announcer or just anybody who's having to, do anything with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You got Matthews and Mac Matthews, however you say his last name. No, I think, yeah, it's crazy, right? It's just insane stuff that I run across throughout the week that catch my attention. I'm like, yeah, well, that's really cool. I don't know why I think that way with it, but hey, it's just fun stuff. No, I think this division is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. At one point, I thought it was going to be Florida finishing that 1 seed, or the 1 spot in the Atlantic Division, but at this point, I truly don't know who has the edge in this division at this point. I really don't.
Yeah, you got 2 Cup winners and Valesky and Bobrovsky, you know what they're doing. Then obviously have Anthony Stolarz in Toronto. I think that's like the only heel for Toronto is their goaltending.
Right.
Because Stolarz is okay, but then you have Wool, and he's been a little shaky his last few starts. So it's just like what do you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up some of the. Let's check out the Florida Panthers schedule for the rest of the season. They play the Montreal Canadiens tonight, who looked fantastic for a while and have fallen off really hard in the last 10 games.
That could be a trap game, though.
Could be. Absolutely could be. So they play Montreal tonight, the last game of March here for the Panthers, and then they're at Montreal again, so they get back-to-backs with Montreal, home against Montreal, at Montreal, and then they're at Toronto. Big game. Mark it on your calendar now. Wednesday, April 2nd, 6:30, Florida at Toronto. That's one. That's the first one. And they're at Ottawa, at Detroit. Then they're home again against Toronto on April 8th. Home against Detroit, home against Buffalo, home against Aaron's New York Rangers. And then their final game of the season is an away game at Tampa Bay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty much all playoff teams are going up against.
All playoff, well, outside of Detroit and Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I'm not even throwing, and I feel off. Like, I don't feel awful, but I look back at the little short that they put out that all Columbus and Detroit are going to make the playoffs. We were wrong. So wrong. So wrong. It's not even funny. Because both of those teams have been god awful since that point in time. So, Aaron, we just need to say that the New York Rangers are going to make the playoffs, and then post it as a short, and they won't happen.
I'm okay with that. I'm telling you, our blue line is just not good this year.
Any final thoughts on just the gridlock between these three teams here in the Atlantic?
I still have Tampa winning it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Jacobs
think you
was
had
an
Tampa. I
amazing
think
player.
I had Florida.
It'll be interesting. See where that one ends up. Metro hasn't changed at all. The Capitals officially clinched a playoff spot. 103 points on the year right now. They're 7-2 in their last 10. Their goal differential plus 75 is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
God damn.
Yeah. Aaron, what do you think here on the Metro?
I still think what we said last episode. I think the Devils are going to get out of that 3 spot.
Yeah. That's right. Who would we place?
Oh, actually, I can't even say that because no one can creep up in there. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I can't even say the Rangers because look, we're 4-5-1 the last 10. So
well, they're 8 points out of that spot.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Also.
Oh, I guess they're going to stay there. Dang.
Yeah. I don't think they're going anywhere. No surprise. You know,
I do think that if they do make it to the playoffs as they are, I don't think they're going to get past the first round.
Yeah. The Devils, I mean, they're playing the Carolina. I mean, it looks like they're going to end up playing the Carolina Hurricanes, so that should be an interesting first round matchup. Which that team has been, they've been pretty outstanding since trading Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised at that. I didn't think Carolina was going to be able to keep up with how they've been playing, especially with losing Martin H's and losing Mikko Rantanen. I felt like they were probably going to drop off a little bit, but surprisingly, they've been able to keep at it as good as they have, and it's good. I mean, good on Carolina, but I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Yeah.
I think like the last 10 games, Taylor Hall has like 7 goals. He is like on fire right now for the Hurricanes. And I mean, also too, Logan Stankoven kind of fits better with Rob Brindamore than Rantanen. So I think Rantanen in Dallas hasn't been doing anything since he scored his first goal there.
I don't think I've really seen much.
No.
That's about all he's done so far. He's 1 goal, injured Stuart Skinner in a nasty head collision. Yeah, Taylor Hall, last 5 games, 5 goals, 6 points. So yeah, he's playing pretty well.
Hart Trophy winner.
They take on the New York Islanders. Is that tonight?
Oh God.
Yeah, 4:00 puck drop for the Islanders and Carolina Hurricanes tonight. This afternoon, I guess you should say. Oh boy, no surprise there. Looks like Ottawa's going to get themselves into the playoffs, and then you got a little bit of battle between the Rangers, the Montreal Canadiens, the Blue Jackets, the New York Islanders.
Nobody wants that
Where
team
did they
in there.
come from?
They were, whenever I was on the show the last time with everybody, it didn't seem like they were all that far off. I mean, they had a few less points than I think New York and Montreal, but I didn't think it was out of the question that they could potentially get themselves into the mix.
I mean, they should have 76 points, but they did get robbed the other night against Columbus.
Is it Columbus or the Flames?
What is it, Flames? No, it's Columbus. It's Columbus.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
I know
that
what
was
you're talking
not
about.
goal interference. That
Yeah.
was goal interference.
Yeah, that's a shame. So they should be sitting 1 point. They should be above Columbus and Montreal right now. I mean, there really isn't a team though. I mean, all these teams are Boston's 2-7-1 in their last 10. Detroit 4-6. Islanders 3-4-3. Columbus 3-6-1. Montreal 3-4-3.
Yeah.
What happened to Montreal? I know you guys kind of said something a little bit earlier in the show, but what happened to them? They were doing really well, maybe like a week and a half ago, and it just seemed like Montreal since then is just fallen off.
That's what happened.
Oh god.
I wasn't gonna go there, but
That's what happened. They faced and got got the BTA.
they got
by the
clapped.
Blues. Yeah, yeah, they got BTA by the Blues, which is just. I mean, they really weren't playing. It didn't seem like they were playing that well going into that game too. They were only 5-4, I think, going into the game against the Blues, or 5-4-1 or something like that. So
Yeah, they had a 2-game winning streak going on, but I mean that could be any NHL team.
Right. Yeah. Within 3 or 4 days, that could happen for any team like that. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in the East. I think I think Ottawa stays. I think Ottawa gets in. And then the final wild card spot, I don't know. It could be Montreal still. It could be Columbus. Could be the Islanders. I mean, it could still be Detroit. I mean, no team has officially been eliminated in the East.
That was about to be my next question. If anybody from the East has been eliminated, I know there's 3 or 4 teams in the West. I know that got eliminated, but I didn't know if anybody from the East yet.
No, there's not a single team in the Eastern Conference who's been eliminated. I mean, Buffalo is 10 points out with 10 games to play.
So pretty much because they play today, don't they?
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
So probably if they lose today, they might get the can.
Yeah, they play the Capitals. I'm sorry, Buffalo.
All right, that's a win for Capitals.
Carolina and Toronto can both clinch a playoff spot today, by the way. Since we're here on the Eastern Conference, the only 2 teams that can clinch a playoff spot today. I believe that's what it says. That's what it shows. So I'm just going to go with that. Thanks, NHL. Carolina Hurricanes can clinch a playoff berth if they defeat the New York Islanders in any fashion, and the Montreal Canadiens lose to the Florida Panthers in any fashion. So basically, they have to win. Florida has to lose. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs can clinch a playoff berth, if they defeat the Anaheim Ducks in any fashion, and the Canadiens lose to the Panthers in any fashion. So one of those 2 teams isn't going to make the play or get a playoff berth today, because one will cancel out the other. Because no.
They'll cancel out if they.
Right. Did I read that right? Montreal loses to Florida in any fashion, and the Canadiens lose to Florida. I mean, both teams could clinch today. There we go. Both teams could clinch if Montreal loses and they win their game.
Yep.
Sorry, got it backwards in my head. Sometimes that happens.
It happens.
Any final thoughts on the Eastern Conference playoff race before we move on to the West?
Yeah, Boston just eliminated themselves. They are dumpster fire.
Oh, they're 5 straight losses. Yeah.
Yeah, they've.
Realistically, I think anybody under Boston or under Detroit is
yeah, they're done.
Not officially eliminated, but mathematically eliminated.
Officially eliminated.
Yeah. So Boston's gone, Pittsburgh's gone, Philadelphia's gone, Buffalo's gone. Oh boy.
More or less.
We talk about this freaking wild west. It's been an absolute freaking.
It went from a close wild card race to kind of distanced itself.
Yeah.
In a matter of a week.
Winnipeg and Dallas have both clinched themselves a playoff berth in the Western Conference. Dallas 5 straight wins. It looked like Dallas. I mean, Dallas has an opportunity to get the 1 seed or 1 spot in the Central now.
It can be done.
5 straight wins. They have 9 games left. Both teams have 9 games left. 104 points for the Winnipeg Jets. Dallas has 100 points. Which team, Brandon, ends up getting the ones. Personally, I hope it's not. God, I hope it's not Dallas.
You hope it's not Dallas?
I hope it's not Dallas. If the Blues end up in the second wild card spot, I hope to God it's not Dallas.
I mean, strategically, us in St. Louis know what's happening. So if they end up getting into the 1 seed, it's not going to matter because we're going to be on the Pacific side of the bracket, and we're going to be playing against the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to play the Winnipeg Jets after they fall to the 2 seed, and we get the 3 seeds from the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, you think? I don't know if we have enough ground in order to take over on Colorado. I mean,
6 points.
Granted, we're on the road to it, but I mean, we got a lot of hard opponents in between now and the end of the season.
6 points, and they play each other one more time this year.
Yes, but if we saw anything of what that matchup is like, I mean, we saw a little bit of a glimpse of it yesterday, and that game could have gone either way. Let's just be honest. That game could have gone either way.
That's fair.
And
Aaron, thank you for Pavel Buchnevich.
My pleasure. Loved having Sammy Blias for not even a season. That was cool.
Aaron, what do you think of the West, the Central Division? Do you think Dallas catches the Winnipeg Jets?
I think Dallas catches them just because Connor Hellebuyck doesn't have a day off.
Fair enough.
Dude's played 47 games this year.
Too many.
My
Too
goodness.
freaking many.
And Dallas is a powerhouse, as we all know. So I think they could take over Winnipeg.
Connor Hellebuyck has 42 of the Winnipeg 50 wins.
Oh, excuse me. 42.
Oh, I'm not saying that he hasn't played more than 42 games. Because I'm sure he has.
Still, though, that's nuts. That means what? So, as a Blues fan, would you want to play Winnipeg just because you know Connor Hellebuyck's going to be so tired you can take them, or would obviously I'm saying Dallas is going to win it, but
just because of the track record between the Blues and the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs, that's also part of the reason why. Because the Blues have had Winnipeg's number for the last several years in the playoffs.
This is true.
So that's part of my reasoning for wanting to win the Winnipeg Jets. But then again, I mean, Aaron, he's played 50. Well, it says 56 games.
Insane.
Connor Hellebuyck's played 56, and he's probably going to play at least 6 more.
Yeah.
At least 6 more. So he's going to be at 62 out of 82 games on the season.
Well, I mean, their backup goaltender and Comrie you don't really have a whole lot of confidence in him. I mean, he's played in how many games, and I don't think he's had very many wins. I think he's only had maybe a handful of wins.
Yeah.
I mean, Gibson was out there in the trade deadline. They could have had him as a backup. How about Hellebuyck?
True. Maybe they could have had Knight as well.
Yeah.
True that.
They could have had Spencer Knight. Yeah, so we'll see what happens in the Central Division there. I don't know how Vegas hasn't clinched this division yet or clinched a playoff spot. I'd imagine it's going to happen soon. And they're 6 straight wins, 98 points on the season, 45 wins. They're the what is that? 3, 6, 8 teams. One of the 8 teams in the West with 40 wins on the season. One of this that to me that's crazy. I mean, there's 8 teams in the West with 40 wins, and you could still have maybe not any more than that. Maybe. Probably not. Any thoughts on the Pacific Division? You're going to LA and Edmonton specifically. 2 teams that are, fighting, trying to. I mean, I don't think they're going to get anywhere outside of out of the Pacific. So 2 or 3 seed for the Kings or Oilers. Who gets what, Aaron? I know you think that Oilers. They did get Leon Draisaitl back, but I think Stuart Skinner's going to miss. I'd imagine he's going to miss some time after that hit the other night.
That guy's a jag. I'm not worried about that. He's just another guy. I don't know. I do like the Kings in that 2 seed. I mean, I just feel like with Edmonton, their blue line's a little sus, and hopefully is Frederic playing yet for Edmonton?
Who?
I don't know.
Frederic from Boston.
I don't know if he is or not.
I'll look at the game recap from last night. See if he did.
That could be a key piece too. I mean, without McDavid, I don't see him in the 2 spot. I think LA might step on the gas and get more points.
Yeah. They did recall. So this was the 27th. They did recall goaltender. What's his? Oliver Rodrigo from Bakersfield on emergency basis. It doesn't say anything about how long Stuart Skinner is going to be out. Ooh, projected line. Oh, let me go back. No, let me go back. Dang.
Yeah, but what's his name? Is Picard or something? Their backup?
Picard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he played pretty decent in the playoffs, so it's gonna have to ride that hot hand, I guess.
I mean, I'm ready. Quit. Let's see.
But look at that wild card.
Friedrich's not in the line. He was not in the lineup last night against the Flames.
Oh dang.
Not in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kings will be the 2 though. But that wild card though, 9 wins. Who could have predicted that? Who said the Blues were going to be good? And no Blues fans agreed with me.
Well, just yeah. We'll just tell you how good the Blue. What are they? So they're now what 16 or 15 2-1 or 15-2-2 in the last or since the Five Nations faced off. When Jim Montgomery took over, I heard this on the radio yesterday while I was listening to the game. When Jim Montgomery took over the Blues, their goal differential was -16.
I believe it.
It is now +17.
I mean, you could also thank the Edmonton Oilers.
Love Ness. Thank you for not offering up the offer sheets for Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg.
Yeah,
because those guys have been absolutely outstanding this season.
And just getting them for the amount of money that we're actually paying them
and the third
for
round
the next
pick.
couple seasons is unreal.
And a third
and
round
for
pick.
a second and third round draft picks.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just it's definitely caught me off guard. That I'm not saying that the Blues weren't a good team. I think a lot of Blues fans around St. Louis thought this team had the potential to do something, but not this. I mean, not to go from sitting out of the wild card or 10 points out of a wild card spot to being tied with the Minnesota Wild for.
How you doing this wonderful Sunday? You got to work.
Not too bad.
All right, have a good one.
For being in the playoff spot that they're in, and I don't know how much longer it is till they clinch, but it's got to be. There's only handful of games left.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say too that Vancouver's done. I mean, yeah, they got back Demko, but he's not going to save them.
Yeah. Brandon, what? I mean, we've talked over the last several days about this team and whatnot, and how they've come about things. I mean,
Oh yeah. I mean, to be frankly honest, never one. I mean, coming back from the Four Nations break, we saw them playing decently well. Did I ever think that they're gonna go on a 9-game tear and just smash through every opponent that they've had, especially Colorado and Minnesota and some of the other teams that they've played against? No. I mean, there's several games that the Nashville game, I thought that they should have lost.
They should have. They should have lost the game. I'll agree with you there.
And the level of play that they've been at has just been very surprising. Best way to put it, surprising. I mean, for us, it shouldn't be, but it kind of is in a way because we haven't seen this level of play from them since probably from about 2018 to about the 2022 season.
Yeah.
Whenever they were in the playoffs last. But I mean, it's crazy to see where they're at and where everything is kind of shaping up to.
Yeah. Definitely caught me by surprise. I didn't think a 9-game win streak was going to be a thing, but again, this team, and we also have to thank Jobu. I don't know how much information about Jobu has been out, but the little guy it's just basically this year's Gloria. So we'll just leave it there. So exciting time is the Blues, and while they're going to continue to keep battling it out. Aaron, do you think? I mean, what's the? Let me ask you this question actually, because Brandon brought it up. Was it last night before in our text thread for STL Sports? Can you consider Jordan Bennington in the Vezina race at this point?
Oh boy.
And no, it's not just because we're homers and we want Jordan Bennington to win every single award he can so that everybody can stop hating on him.
I would say he would be in the talks. I would say in talks.
Yeah,
but I don't see.
He could be in talks. Yeah, I mean, if there's a TD Garden Award, yes, give me Jordan Bennington or TD Garden Award. But I think as a Vezina,
yeah,
nah, you got Connor Hellebuck with Winnipeg. I think he's already gonna win it. So
yeah, that's fair because you can't add anything in the playoffs with the Vezina Trophy right into the regular season.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he's got to. I agree. I think he's got to be in the talks for the Vezina. I mean, I don't know how he's not in talks for it at this point in time.
Who do you guys have for in the Vezina talks though, besides Hellebuck?
It's got to be the guy from. I mean, the rookie out of
Wolf.
Oh,
yeah.
Wolf from Calgary.
Yeah. I know they're not. They probably were going to miss out on the playoffs, but the fact that he was a rookie, that we're a lot of people were expecting the Flames not to be a playoff contending team. Thought they were going to kind of fall off a little bit, and he's been a big part of the reason why the Flames are in the position. I mean, they're still in the playoff race, but in that position that they're in.
Yep.
Do you think Logan Thompson would be, or do they just split too much in Washington?
I think he could be in the mix.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he is also part of the reason why Washington is where they're at.
Yeah. I just give you who's. I mean, like Connor Hellebuck it's got to be leading the Vezina race. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, he's probably has it locked up just because they have 50 wins. They're probably gonna get the President's Trophy to keep. Well, actually, I guess they would.
I would think potentially Washington would be. I mean, I know Washington and Winnipeg are probably pretty close in that department of who's in the top.
They're like 1 point off on each other, right?
If this gives you any idea, this is covers, and this is from FanDuel Sportsbook. It's changed. So Connor Hellebuck is now a heavy favorite that only FanDuel still has Vezina odds up, and it's Hellebuck versus the field. The Jets netminder is minus 20,000 to win the Vezina Trophy this year.
So you're saying I should put money on Sergei Bobrovsky, is what you're saying?
Hey, they're only plus
might have better odds.
The field's only plus 5,000. Just to give you an idea, so that didn't give me any help at all. By the way, of who?
Not at all.
Of who? Who? I mean, I don't know who else.
If we were to,
but that's it.
If we were to do like a Heisman roll, he'd be like 5th in the Heisman voting, 5th or 6th. Like he'd be down there, Bennington.
Who? Hellebuck?
No, not Hellbucks. Bennington. He'd
Oh
be
yeah.
like
But he's still
5
in
or
the talks.
6. Like he's
Still
in
in the
there.
talks. Still in the talks of the Vesna race.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think the Presidents is going to be like as close as it was last year.
Come down to like the last game or two.
Yeah, that's what happened with Dallas and the Rangers.
Yeah. Is that President's Trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at
Because it's 104, 103, right?
Winnipeg, Dallas, and Washington. Nobody else is going to get there. So it's between those 3 teams. I don't want to say. I mean, I think Dallas could be I don't want to say a long shot, but it has a really solid opportunity to get the President's Trophy. Good to seem like they're playing. They're playing really good.
Yeah, but you guys want Winnipeg, so
right. Well, I mean, we can still get Winnipeg. I already told you how. We just got to jump Colorado, which is possible. Don't say it's not possible because it's 100% possible with the way the Blues are playing.
It really is, actually. Like,
yeah. It's absolutely possible, which is insane.
I don't know. I mean, I want to be optimistic and say it's possible, but I realistically, with how well Colorado's been playing, I don't think it's possible.
Nah, they're only 7-2-1 in their last 10. I mean,
only.
Come on.
Only.
Yeah. Blues are just 9-1 in their last 10. So you tell me who's the hotter team. Just saying. No, for real though. Any final thoughts on the Western Conference?
It's gonna be real wild, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you think it's the Blues and Wild though that are in the wild card? Do you think Vancouver has a shot?
Hell no.
Yeah. I think Minnesota and St. Louis has pretty much got those 2 spots locked in. Unless Vancouver goes on a crazy run in these last, 8 or 9 games that they have left in the season, I don't think that they really get much more of a chance.
Yeah, that's fair. All righty. We pull down the standings here. Whatnot. Go ahead and get rid of those. Get rid of that. Any final thoughts on anything across the league right now, besides watch hockey, Aaron?
Hey, you have to. It's better than the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, right now as a sports fan, it's just it's a solid time of the year, anyways.
Yeah,
I think for me, they need to stop with this goalie interference stuff.
Yeah,
they're just. It's very ticky-tacky, and I get that now the goalies are like the quarterbacks of the NHL, but they need to fix some type of rule with that going forward. You can't have a goalie go into a forward, and then it's a forward's fault. Yeah.
We're gonna make this a new segment. We'll make it a new segment at the end of the show, and it's just our like I don't want to call it final. I guess you could call it final thoughts.
Can one of us be Skip Bayless and be like, it's my turn?
Yeah. I agree with you, Aaron. I think the goaltender interference stuff has gotten a little ridiculous because I've seen several times where there should be goaltender interference and it's not called, and there's times where it's not goaltender interference and it is called. Yeah.
I mean, they helped it out a little bit whenever they were able to make it reviewable. But now it's almost getting back to the point of where there's no standard to it anymore, like there was prior to reviewing it. It just, I mean, it's that and everything else that refs are able to call throughout games. There's questionable calls all the time, and not a lot of them are reviewable.
Right.
And it sucks at times. I mean, we've been on the receiving end of multiple times in the last probably week and a half or so with refs calling the puck early just for the goalie having the puck covered. I mean, we've seen that several times in the last week or so. We're in St. Louis, but it's getting nuts at times with what the refs are able to call and not be able to review any of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Brandon, do you have any thoughts or like opinion? Something that's caught your attention over the last, week or so? Is your
Just
final
that.
thought for today? Just the goaltender interference stuff? Fair enough.
I don't have really anything else.
Mine. So as I was listening to I think it was Blues Predators game the other day, or watching it, one of the two. The NHL is slowly really trying to get rid of fighting even more, and the reason, like the part that I picked, what
is this, college hockey? What is this, college hockey?
How can you get rid of fighting in the NHL?
By doing this exact thing. So the other day in this Blues, I don't remember if it was the Blues Predators or if it was the game after that, against Chicago, but there was a situation that happened where the Blues player kind of got a little much with the opposing team. I don't remember what team it was, but they ended up giving a 2-minute extra minor to either Chicago or Nashville for instigating, because the guy, the Blues player, it was a hard hit, heavy hit and whatnot. So the opposing player came over and tried to instigate a fight, try to get the Blues player to react to it, just to get into a fight. They gave them an extra 2-minute minor for instigating a fight, trying to instigate a fight.
Well, I mean, they've had
the NHL, like referees have been hitting this hard over the last month and a half or so to try to cut down on the amount of fights in the game, just to keep more things under control.
I mean, the instigating minor and the unsportsmanlike conduct calls have always been kind of in the NHL, and refs just haven't really called them until more recently. And I think that was against Nashville that happened, because I kind of recall that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to say that you're bringing a call back that's always been there, I think it's going to be a hard fight to say, hey, we're going to try to minimize fighting because we got this new call now, when really it's been in the NHL since whenever with fighting, and they just haven't used it since recently. I think I don't think it's going to take all that well.
I'm trying to see if I can find it here. Nope. I don't know. Aaron, what do you think? Do you think that the push to throw these extra instigating minors or unsportsmanlike penalties to guys who are trying to instigate a fight after a big hit, when it could have been when it was a clean hit necessarily, just to try to get things?
No, because I mean that's what people want to watch hockey for, is the fights, and we want the Hanson brothers out there. So we wanted that kind of instigating and fighting and stuff. That's going to bring in crowds. So I feel like this is a Gary Bettman thing, and then if it is, then he needs to go. It's just ridiculous. Or are we going to be like college hockey? We're not going to have any fights at all?
Yeah.
Like, geesh.
7.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
I know, right? My God.
Trying to see if I can find it. I don't see the one I'm looking for, but
as long as there's no flopping in the NHL, we should be fine.
Maybe it was Montreal. Maybe it was a Montreal game, Brandon.
Was it? I thought it was. I don't know. I swore it was Nashville
Center.
It was the Montreal game. 17:33 left in the game. There was a 2-minute minor for roughing, and then by Josh Anderson. So it was Josh Anderson 2-minute minor for roughing. He also got a 10-minute misconduct as well as Arbor. Is it? I don't even know how. His name starts with an X. His last name starts with an X. I'm not even gonna try to. Is it car? Is it Sajar? 10-minute misconduct as well. So that was the situation that I was thinking of in my head, that they gave an extra mile, which I understand. I get it. But is it going to be too much at the end of time? The end of the run is going to be a point where I don't want to say refs run the show, which they necessarily should, because they're the referees. To a point.
Yeah, I was gonna say to a point
much.
should be.
Yeah. I don't know. Just something that came across my thought process the other day when I was watching something. Or when I was watching that.
Interesting.
So.
I just think it's going to be hard to take hockey out, or fighting out of hockey, and especially with how fast the game goes and everything, and tempers get flared up quick in those types of situations, and players are just going to throw the mitts regardless. And yeah, you might get those penalties, but I think it's still going to be around. I don't think they're going to be able to take it out of hockey.
Right. That's fair. Fair enough. All right. Wrap up the show. Aaron, Brandon, thanks for joining me today on this latest episode of the Five-Hole. If you missed the announcement the other day, for those of you watching, starting April 1st, and it's not an April Fool's joke. It just happened to land on April 1st, okay? All right, because I already knew something was going to happen. Oh, it's just April Fool's joke. No, it's not. So starting April 1st, all Variety Sports Network shows are going to be exclusively on YouTube. Will no longer be on X. So make sure you check out the YouTube. Go over, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff that you do for everybody else. Promise you, we're doing just as much behind the scenes stuff as you think we are. A lot of hardworking guys here and folks here at Variety Sports. So make sure you do the like, subscribe thing, and we'll check you out. Or not, we won't check you out. We'll see you on the next episode of of the Five-Hole here on Variety Sports Network, exclusively on YouTube, starting April 1st.